Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. In the last part, we died! And now we're going to hell.
I didn't know hell was green.
I mean, how hot is green fire?
Well, it's not really a signifier of heat. It's more the type of salt
Oh, true.
that's there. And
That's right, because...
it's sodium chloride with fire is like a brilliant orange, and then there's like I'd have to remember my different kinds of salts.
Isn't there a state? Mind you, I'm thinking more with stars, because stars and gases burn different colors. I could swear there was a state where fire burned kind of green naturally between blue and the other color. But I guess it might just be my eyes playing tricks on me.
I don't
Also,
know.
Tifa, you alright, girl?
She's all alone. 'Cause I'm all alone. I've got no one beside me.
Now, we've had some fairly plot-focused episodes throughout this series, but I'm gonna tell you right now, people.
This is the most plot-heavy episode, probably.
One of. The first 2/3 of this part alone are nothing but this next section. It's a really interesting section, especially for first-time players. But we might run a bit dry on conversation, just due to the fact we're probably reading too much into what's going on. So I am sorry. And also, what the absolute hell am I looking at?
Yeah. Who designed this area?
I don't know.
Also, I love how Who Am I plays in the background.
Oh yeah, this is a brilliant use of this song.
Yeah, it's very, very atmospheric, is what comes to mind.
The best way I can sort of summarize what's going on is that we're kind of in Cloud's consciousness, sort of, and we need to try and help Cloud find himself. So, we gotta talk to these various Clouds and look back in scenes in his past.
I mean, how do we... Oh... That's right, because they're his conscience, which would be like the real memories, but his subconscious is the fake ones.
Yes, I think. So we're starting off in the scene that started it all back in Nibelheim 5 years ago. Yeah, that's definitely Nibelheim, Tifa. Okay, she brings up the truck there, and that's the only one in town. I swear to God, I always forget that's there until she says that line.
Yeah.
It blends into that house really well. Hey, Cloud.
It's got windows on it.
Also, a very minor graphical effect I like that they have going on here with Cloud is that they kind of have a white version of Cloud's character model inside his current one. And flickering it off and off. It creates kind of a nice little eerie effect. Oh, okay, stop doing that. I should be used to Sephiroth teleporting in like that by now, but I'm not.
Sephiroth is like an Abra. Teleporting and teleporting and teleporting.
I just imagine... You make that comparison, and I just imagine Sephiroth cosplaying as an Alakazam with a spoon the size of his Masamune.
How big is the end of it? Can he spoon out a lot of ice cream?
No, that's a joke. It's just like a little teaspoon at the end.
Oh! Oh yeah, because Cloud or said character with long black hair would have the big spoon that they get all the ice cream with. And then Sephiroth is jealous and is like, I don't get a lot of ice cream. Look at how tiny my spoon is. And then he destroys the world. Because he's mad that he doesn't.
There's a penis envy joke in here somewhere, but I'm not clever enough to make it. But yeah, as we're learning, Tifa was apparently there at the entrance that day, but the moment she saw everyone else approaching, she ran because she didn't see Cloud amongst them. Plus, I mean, I guess seeing Sephiroth's really beautiful but kind of creepy eyes probably scared her too. And there's Mr. Blackhair again. We saw him earlier.
When you say that, it reminds me of the cutscene where he goes to the deep part of... in the flashback. That's also done in Last Order.
Oh, yeah, that. We'll get to Last Order at some point.
That's such a wonderful rehashing of the story.
I do want to tackle the entire compilation at some point, barring, of course, Before Crisis, because I don't think we're ever going to get that over here.
Oy.
I'll probably drag you along for the movies and stuff. I'll do Dirge of Cerberus on my own, though, as I think I've said before.
Honestly, I think that'll be pretty fun for me. Because I don't think I've seen any of them except for Last Order. I don't think I've even seen Advent Children yet, which is really bad.
Advent Children is a spectacle.
I really need to watch Advent Children.
Advent Children, I think, hasn't aged the best plot-wise in some regards, but visually, I still think it looks great. Barring some dirty textures.
The way some of the characters look, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's not really appealing, because I thought the whole idea was that they were trying to be like the original design, but slightly edgier, and I thought it was completely off. I wasn't sure what they were going for with the character design, with the physical designs.
There's some I don't like in that movie, though. We'll get to that when the time comes. But now we're looking back 7 years ago to the well cutscene. We haven't seen this since part 1, I think, have we?
It's been a long time since then.
Yeah, and Tifa still thinks that this Cloud is not a clone nor a fake. We think it's him. But a consistent issue, he's never really believed in himself, apparently.
He is like the embodiment of how some people feel about themselves. They don't believe in themselves, but other people do. And that's why people say, believe in the me that believes in you.
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. At this point, what they're essentially looking like for right now is a memory that Tifa knows could only be theirs. And in a way that only Cloud could remember it. Because if they're trying to find a sense of himself, and you might recall during the whole meltdown he had at the Northern Crater area, the fact that apparently Cloud could have been influenced by Tifa's memories, turning him into the Cloud we knew, that's why we're trying to find one for him to remember of himself. Because if it's one that Tifa didn't say about him, then there's no way he can know it. Besides him being the real Cloud. At least I think that's what they're saying here. I understand what this section's doing, but it's one of those things that's hard to put into words.
Yeah, it's very difficult to work with.
With that said, though, this is a brilliant character study.
It's fascinating.
And I know I've said it in the past couple of parts, especially because we got that trailer about 2 weeks ago now, I want to say. But I wonder how they're going to do this in the remake. My hope would be, and this is going to sound real weird, I kind of hope they do it in a vein similar to some of the flashbacks / memory sequences in God of War 3 / PS4. Because when those tackled Kratos' inner thoughts, they did really well. With that, let's take a look where we're going next. By the way, I love that little transition. I don't know why, I just like it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know this room.
That's Tifa's room. Did you go into my room and play the piano? I jammed on it, dude.
I looked at your underwear. Haha, that's creepy.
So, are those fake memories too, then?
Good question. I think that's a point of sort of gameplay story segregation. Like, there's an extent of, yeah, this is definitely what happened, but other things couldn't. That's actually why I kind of like the detail where, at his meltdown, he mentions the specific things you did in your playthrough at the Nibelheim flashback, such as playing at the piano, going into Tifa's house like that. Because I think aside from talking to Sephiroth to progress the first day during the flashback in the inn, everything else there is optional. But Tifa's looking pretty bummed there.
Yeah, she looks really upset.
And apparently this was the group of friends she had otherwise. I want to say, in the English version, one of these is meant to be Johnny, but Johnny in the Japanese version, as I mentioned a couple times by this point, was not their childhood friend.
So then who is Johnny, then?
Johnny is just someone from the Sector 7 slums. The reason he called Cloud childhood friend in the Japanese version is because he's referring to him as Tifa's childhood friend, because he had a bit of a thing for Tifa during the Sector 7 period.
Ah, I see.
But the English version took it as him being a childhood friend. You know what? Honestly, from a certain perspective, I kind of like that version more. But yeah, Cloud was apparently the bullied kid back in the Nibelheim era.
No wonder he's so edgy.
He tried to be friends with Tifa, but the other three essentially bullied him, and some amount of peer pressure kept her doing that.
Well, that's not nice. Kids are, like, evil sometimes, actually.
Kids can be both the most pure but the most evil parts of humanity in a way, because they don't know what they're doing.
Yup.
Yeah, it's the kind of whole thing that some people bring up with what true evil is. True evil is doing it and not realizing it's evil.
Bad.
I disagree with that mentality because I think the truest evil is knowing you're doing evil and willingly continuing it.
Well, yeah, the truest evil is knowing what you're doing and that it's, like, actively a bad thing, but you do it
Because once you get down
anyways.
to the point of...
Consciously. Because, like, you could talk about, like a sociopath, for example. They do it, but they don't want to do it. They just do it anyways. It's not like they want to do it. But psychopaths, on the other hand, they don't have any, like, it's like a lack of empathy thing.
Yeah, it's sort of. It's complicated, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the reason in particular that Tifa's doing what she's doing now is this was around the time her mother died. And she was thinking that since no one can get across Mount Nibble alive, maybe this is where the spirits go, and if she passes through it, she can see her mother again. Very childish point of thought, but it's one that I would probably make at that age.
This song is really good, by the way.
Oh, the music throughout this entire last bit of the game is so good. When there's a track that only plays like once or twice, it's fantastic.
You're Not Alone,
Orin's theme. I love Orin's theme, but it only plays like once in the entire game of 10, and that's at the very end.
It plays at the beginning, I think, doesn't it?
Does it? It might play at the beginning. It's such a long game.
No. I'm thinking of a different theme, which is sucky. But yeah, Orin's theme is really good. Oh wait, no, it does play at the beginning. During the them getting sucked into Sin.
I'd have to look back at that scene. It's been a while since I saw that. It's been a while since I played 10, but at the same time, going for the Platinum Trophy in 10 takes a lot out of you, because maxing out all the sphere grids takes forever.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I like Platinum Trophies.
Whoop.
But yeah, while she was going across Mount Nibble, the other kids slowly abandoned her because they were getting scared, but Cloud continued to follow. However, the bridge fell out again, or at least they fell off of it. Tifa and Cloud? Cloud ended up only like skin knees, but Tifa was comatose for a little bit, and Tifa's dad there on the right thinks this is all Cloud's fault, and is scolding him appropriately. Also, I'd like to note, you can't see it, but Tifa's father has one hell of a mustache. Comatose for 7 days, Christ.
That doesn't sound good at all.
I mean, comatose alone just sounds scary. Better it be a week than, 3 years, but...
I mean, that'd be more scary for the people observing.
Yeah.
You can't really say what it is for the people who are actually in a comatose state, because, well, no one really knows what they're experiencing except them.
I swear the only coma-based episode of any entertainment ever I've liked is that one episode of Bones after they had to get Seely's brain tumor out. Where they were like in a noir detective setting in his coma dream.
Oh, boy.
The episode before that was weird because he had brain cancer, a brain tumor, and he was seeing Stewie from Family Guy. Bones was weird.
Crossovers like that are pretty darn cool, honestly. When they're done well, at least.
I'll never forget the random time where the 2.5 Men writers and the CSI writers traded places for a week. That was a weird episode of CSI. But in that memory, they found something that Cloud remembered that Tifa couldn't, so we found proof that this Cloud is the real Cloud. But we're not quite at the truth about what happened 5 years ago yet. So we had to head back to 5 years ago Nibelheim and see if we can find anything else.
Do you remember that? I remember.
I can't tell if that's a Rick and Morty reference, and I don't like it.
No.
No, that's South Park. South Park.
Very much South Park.
That whole Barry plotline that season was stupid.
I mean, South Park is a fan of stupid things.
But they're stupid, and then they're stupid, you know? Like, it would have worked for one episode, but they dragged on that joke way too long. That entire season was full of that. Oh, hey, Tifa, remember that time you almost got killed? Ow.
She remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Man, we're just full of references today. Oh, hey, it's that dude.
Oh, boy. Not good at all.
Zach?
Oh!
Aerith's boyfriend?
Well, he was first-class soldier, right? That's what Aerith told us.
Yeah. So that means Zach was there. Where were we? Oh, shit. Cloud would have seen this all then, somehow, but how? He was there, and I know that silhouette, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Oh, he was.
Also, yes, I know I'm saying this with feigned ignorance, even though I did a Let's Play of Crisis Core like 2 or 3 years ago now.
I still need to play Crisis Core.
Be quiet, people in the comments section.
Oh, Sephiroth doesn't care.
Ooh, impaled Sephiroth.
He is immortal. At least he thinks he is.
The dialogue here is absolutely perfect, by the way.
Yeah, the dialogue here is awesome.
Just a standard Shinra grunt. But not just any. There's our spiky-haired friend. Now, one thing I find absolutely brilliant about this is that if you pay attention after this cutscene and go back through the Nibelheim flashback, he's there. He's the one soldier who survives the bridge, and during the section where Sephiroth goes, how's it like to be home, and such, he's not facing the Cloud you're supposed to be looking at in that scene, he's facing the Shinra soldier. When he tells you can explore the area, he's facing the Shinra soldier behind you. This plot line is hidden throughout the entire game, and like the Genova reunion stuff, it's done really well.
Yeah, this is done very, very, very well.
I love this twist. These scenes take on a whole new weight, though, after playing Crisis Core, because you feel so bad for Zack seeing this shit happen. Also, I don't know why, and this is a really random thing, but the music in this section reminds me of Metroid Zero Mission?
Well, it is Cloud's theme.
Wait, no, not Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Fusion. In particular, towards the end of the game, when you're given free reign to explore the space station, and they have one theme playing before you get to the final countdown scene, and there's instruments in that sound a lot like this. Probably because the Game Boy Advance probably uses a Sony sound chip, if I had to guess.
Does it? Oh.
But yeah, this all checks out. He was even that soldier on the ground there. We kept our promise. Also, this is gonna sound really strange, but if there's alternate costumes available in the remake, I want helmetless Shinra Grunt Cloud to be one of them.
Yes, I fully agree with this statement.
Not only because of the storyline implications, but the design itself is really good. Like, the character model Cloud has in Crisis Core is just great. And yes, now that we've gotten Crisis Core out of the way, I'm going to be mentioning it a bit more. Because now we know about Zack and all that. Only question is still, how did we miss what happened during the 5 years that we're missing? But, oh god, that's Genova's head. Sephiroth, you killed your own mother. Dickweed.
Matricide is not good, Sephiroth. Don't do this.
Zack, you're telling me to kill a first-rate soldier. It's one thing catching him off surprise, but doing it a second time, I doubt it'll work.
He's doing that limp thing.
I really do think he injured his leg during the fall from the bridge or something. Ow, we're impaled. I mean, I guess we kind of deserve it for what we did, but ow. But guess what?
Whoa.
I know physics, and I know how to use leverage. Ow, my insides. Well, I guess that solves the mystery of what happened to Sephiroth. Man fell into the Mako reactor.
But how did he end up?
Up in the northern crater?
Yes.
Well, what's down there essentially is pure Mako energy. Essentially what happened to Cloud getting the Medial is what happened to Sephiroth, only he flowed to where the Promised Land was and became one with it in a way.
Oh, wow.
Or at least what was left of him. His spirit did. His body died there. So, I guess we fell unconscious or something from that injury? There's still a couple of gaps we're missing, but we know we're us at least.
That's the most important thing. Discover yourself.
Yeah.
The moral of Final Fantasy VII. Discover yourself.
I really like the Cloud's angle throughout this entire game. Cloud is... I know we've talked about how we didn't like what they did with him from the stuff after 7, and I have more comments about that I'm going to be saying later on in this very part. But I think Cloud overall is one of the best written Final Fantasy protagonists in the entire franchise.
I can agree with that.
Also one of the most iconic, but that's also because 7 is just one of the best. It's the RPG that launched the genre in the West. And partially in Europe, because I think Final Fantasy VII was the first game they got in the franchise.
Sad, they missed out on 6.
And 4. And, no, I guess I shouldn't say and 1, because 1's okay in the later ports, but the NES 1 is rough.
I was gonna say 5. 5's pretty good.
Well, we missed out on 5 too. I would assume that Europe would get the same Final Fantasy games we did. I know they got Mystic Quest over there. Although I think it was called like Mystic Quest Legend.
I thought the US got 4 and 6, didn't they?
We got 4 and 6 as 2 and 3.
As 2 and 3, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised when this game, at least I recall this game started development on the N64. They were going to call it 4, which would once again mean 4 is the best. But yeah, Cloud's a little woozy, but we got him back. So we should probably figure a way back to reality. Whee!
Okay, you can just fly up again.
I really wish one of them was just randomly doing a breaststroke. Swimming through the Mako.
Mako is liquid, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I know. I think Mako is technically a gas, but Lifestream is liquidy. Also, Red, you probably should not be that close to it.
Okay, so that's liquid Mako, right?
Yes.
It must have a very unstable melting or condensing temperature then.
Either that or the Lifestream mixed with water around Medial, considering we are on an island. But we're back. Medial's completely destroyed, but we're back. Some kind of lady indeed, Barrett.
You can return to Medial at its current state. You won't be able to... I don't think you'll be able to get as many things out of it, but you'll still be able to get the contained materia.
Yeah, I'll show that off in a few moments. Now, Tifa! You know what? She's earned a rest. And now we're back on the Highwind.
Board meeting, y'all.
And now for one of my favorite speeches from a main character in a game. Cloud never was in Soldier. He was only ever a grunt. He made up the stories, sort of. The best way I can describe what Cloud's character has been this entire game is in a sort of comatose state. We'll get into that in a bit more. His mind and experiences fused that with his image of his friend Zack. And that became the snarky Cloud we know today. Cloud isn't like that really. The Cloud that we see in Advent Children, who's a bit more down to earth, but also kind of not depressed, but downer, is a result of this. This is Cloud's real personality. That still doesn't answer exactly how he got Genova cells in him, but again, we'll see in a bit.
And he learned how to wield with that sword real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, if I recall correctly, higher class soldiers get more Mako infusion. Same with Genova cell infusion. Because I think most soldiers have some amount of Genova cells in them, I think. That's something that's made a bit vague. That is a good question, though. What's Cloud gonna do? But, of course, he's Cloud. He has to fight.
He is a clod.
Hey, no. Not a little bit. He has a bit of a dumb streak every now and then, but his heart's in the right place.
Alright.
There ain't no getting off this train we on. And with that, after, 3 or 4 parts now? We have control of Cloud back, thank God. Nothing has changed for Cloud stat-wise. I think the most that happens is that he gained some experience from the fights he did off-screen, I think. But actually, no, I think it's just generally higher level anyway because he's always in the party before that.
Doesn't his level increase with that of his party members anyways? Kind of like how it is in 6, I think. Because like in the World of Ruin, you can level up Celis to 99, and then everyone will join at level 99, something like that.
It's rough because not many characters ever really leave your party in 7. They don't gain experience points when they're in like the out of party thing, but when they're like out of the party, I don't know if they gain anything. With that though, I don't have a real party set up right now. I'm just gonna head back into Medeal to show you exactly what the place is looking like now. As you can see, it's looking good.
It still has the chill music playing, which is honestly a really nice touch.
And most of the stores are still here. I think they, for the most part, sell the same stuff. Although, actually, I think the item shop has less. If you didn't get the curse string earlier, you can't anymore. Although, I forgot to mention, during the ultimate weapon battle, last part, you can also steal a curse string from that fight, so you can get 2 if you want. This person here, yeah, the Materia is looking less because they had Destruct earlier. So yeah, they generally have less stuff. This is, I think, the only store that loses stuff throughout the game. Also, a really dark moment in this area. I think it's the lady in blue over there, and I already talked to her. The dude who ran the weapon shop with the fake door, he's not here. And she just goes, I wonder if he found the way through that door to whatever's beyond it.
Oh, whoa. Oof. That's...
Yeah, he died in that.
That is dark.
Yeah. And also, something that took me years to find out, I didn't know about this for a long while, you can climb up this and come over here to the left. And hey, the Chocobo's here. As Kenny mentioned, you can still get the Gatane materia here if you didn't earlier, I believe. And this lady bought up a lot of shit, as you saw when we were here last. And now she sells all the other stuff. At higher prices, I believe.
Of course. She's...
Oh boy. But the free inn is also still here as well. So even though Mideel has been completely destroyed, it still functions as a town. And again, I'll be doing this next part for reasons I'll mention. This is one of the best areas in the game to grind, and the fact that the inn is free makes it even better.
Yeah, you don't need inns that much in this game. At least I don't think you do.
There's very few parts where I outright use an inn. Grinding in this area for what I do is one of them.
Ooh, what are you
now
doing
we're
back
back in
here?
Nibelheim. After you get Cloud back in your party, one new cutscene opens here. In particular, we want to head down to the basement where we first met Vincent. Now, way earlier in the game, I foreshadowed this. There's a reason I liked that pod. There's us and Zach.
Huh.
Now, one thing I don't understand about this dude, he's gonna feed us, but how does he feed us? He obviously has to open the pods to do that, but does he, like, put us back in? Does he just put it in the pod and then it goes through another door to go into our veins, like, intravenously?
Whoa.
Oh my god, that's a nice left hook. Well done, Zach.
Ooh.
Oh
So
god,
wait,
he's catatonic again.
So why was Cloud being infused with Mako here, as well as Zack?
Well, essentially what's going on, during the 5 years between the Nibelheim flashback and right before we got to Midgar, we were at the Shinra Manor. Being experimented on, I believe, to some extent. Also just being put into cryostasis. I believe what they were doing was testing us around with Genova cells, which is why Cloud has Genova cells more than any other soldier. But unfortunately, that had mixed effects on us. Zack's completely fine because he was a soldier already, so Mako poisoning for him is a bit harder to reach. But as you can see over there, Cloud's looking a bit like he did last part. So he's out of commission for a bit. However, he also changed Cloud into some soldier gear he found in the area because, he, obviously, being 5 years later, Cloud's grown a bit since 5 years ago. And now I guess we're just on our way back to Midgar. Got a place he can crash for a while, which, well, if the mother's living there, we can tell that's Aerith's house. Yeah, dude, you haven't been talking to your girlfriend for 5 years. How's she gonna feel about that?
Oh, she'll be fine. She's tranquil about everything.
True.
Even in the face of death.
Though I mentioned some character stuff before as well. I feel like that is one thing we've talked about a bit in this playthrough, but I don't think I've ever said outright. One thing, again, I don't like about some of the extended Final Fantasy VII stuff is that they made Aerith a bit too Messiah-y, in a way, with her personality, a bit too perfect. In 7, she can get sassy, and I love it. And if I'm repeating myself with that, I'm sorry, but first off, it needs restating, and also, we record these over the periods of months sometimes, so sometimes we forget things we say.
It's fine. It needs to be restated anyways.
Oh, squats. No wonder we were so good at them.
Oi.
Gonna be a mercenary, yeah, that sounds like what we did. But that only adds one question, because if this is on our way to Midgar, and we know where we were after all the 5 years, what happened to Zack? Also, I like how the backgrounds are just parallax looping very quickly. Like, that's the same rock over and over and over again. Damn right we're friends, Zach.
Oh boy.
Alright, where are we? God, Dragon Cloud like that's... Oh, okay, that's gunfire. Oh, well, you handled that pretty professionally. Oh, God! Ooh.
And like it does in a lot of sad scenes in video games, it just starts raining.
Now, one thing I both love and hate about Crisis Core with this scene. Crisis Core really plays up the drama with the way that the little slot system goes off and such, but they also make the Shinra guards go from 3 to like 3,000. In this scene, it's subtle, it's quiet, you really feel that emotion, especially what this little motion cloud does here. While I like the overdramaticness, this has more power to it. Oh, so close, too. God damn.
Ugh. It hurts, man. It hurts.
Man, I'm crying. Either way, with that giant dump of plot from across 5 years out of the way, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 27, we'll be doing some minor stuff before heading on to some major side quests.
So, minor stuff before major stuff. Nice.
Whoa! See you guys then.